Yeah, baby.
Hey, Jim. Well, it's Tuesday, so if it's Tuesday, that must mean we're still under this dumb Mercedes. I've taken the pan off of the transmission. Let me show you. I let it drain overnight, and it's still dripping quite a bit. I just pulled the pan and the stand away. I have this pan down here, but I just rolled this out, and you can see that overnight it has actually drained a lot. This pan has got a lot of fluids in it, so it's still draining quite a bit, and this stuff is so dark that I'm okay with letting it drain a little bit longer. So I'm going to dump this out, and then we're going to clean out this pan and examine this filter a little bit, and then clean out the pan and put on a new gasket. Get ready to put this thing back together. I just pried this. It was just stuck right here. It's a magnet. So this is to pick up any loose metal. You can see where it's done its job, but there's not that much on it. So I'm going to take that as a good sign too. So I'm going to take some brake clean and just clean out the whole inside of this pan and clean up the magnet. And I'm going to see about this pipe here. Make sure that that is fitted properly. And I got to figure out a way to attach something. This is the inside of the drain plug. So I have to figure out a way of attaching something to the drain plug so I can pump my fluid back in from underneath. So ideally something that threads into the drain plug would be really cool. It's official. I'm finally out of rubber gloves. You can't buy rubber gloves at the local Harbor Freight. They used to have a whole aisle full of them. Now it's just empty shelves. I was just in there the other day and empty shelves. I said, oh, still no gloves? And no. She said they get new stuff in each week. They don't know which day, but usually within 2 to 3 hours, whatever they get in and stock on the shelves, sold, gone. So poor people like me that have to, take care of their hands staying clean. Okay, well, I got my pan here. And this is where that standpipe is going to clip on. And what would be really nice is if I could fit something into this drain plug, like one of these guys. These are not the right thread. They're too small. These are made for outboard motors. But if I had something like that that would thread into here, that's, a through pipe like this, where I could have a seal and then put my hose on here and then pump the fluid in. I don't know. I wonder if I've got a hose that'll fit fairly tight here. Let me look into this. Okay, well, the best I've been able to come up with here is I've got my pump, and don't worry, I'm going to clean all of this really good and make sure it's rinsed out with the right fluid before I start putting it in to the transmission. But I think what I've got here is this pump, and then this hose, I put some O-rings on it. And these O-rings are pretty tight on the hose, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to push this up against the fitting there where I'll get enough of a seal where as I'm pumping it in, it won't just be running out the outside of this hose, that it'll be going into my pan as I slowly pump. And then the next thing is it's still dripping, and it's been about 24 hours since I dropped the pan, and it's still dripping at a rate of about 12 drips a minute. And if you do a calculation, that's like a gallon and a half in 24 hours. So a drop every 5 seconds, that seems like it's still coming out fast enough that I should wait, because the more of that crappy, dirty fluid that comes out, the better off I'll be. And I'm not going to do, I saw where you can take off like the return line on the side of the transmission and put a hose on it and then start the car. This is after you've got fluid, new fluid in the pan, and then you start the car and let it pump out like a quart, and then shut the car off, and then add another quart to the pan, and then start the car and let it push another quart of the dirty stuff out of the return line rather than returning it into the pan. I'm not going to do that. I don't think I have enough fluid. I only have 4, 5, 6 quarts of the transmission fluid at this point. So I think it takes more than that if you actually flush the whole thing. I think it takes a lot more than that. So like probably a little more than double what I have. By letting it drain for this long, I might be screwing myself over there too. I might not have enough. I might have to get more fluid. We'll have to see when I start filling it. But I'm not going to put the pan on until the drips get down to, 1 or 2 a minute, and then I'll feel like it's drained enough. But I don't really know. Okay, it's not Tuesday anymore, it's Wednesday. And I got my pan cleaned out, and I fitted it with a brand new fill pipe. So it's the white one. And I let this thing drain again for another 24 hours. And finally, it is only dripping like once every couple of minutes. So I put this pan in at 8 p.m. last night. So this looks like what? Maybe half a quart? So it leaked a half a quart out. It drained a half a quart out since 8 p.m. last night. And that's after it had been open and draining for about 26 hours at that point. So this thing takes a long time to drain. That's all I'm going to say. But I think we're done here. So I'm going to dump the rest of this into my tank, and then I'm going to clean this out, and I'm going to use this pan to put the bottle in when I'm uploading the fresh oil, and that way if some of it leaks back out, I'll be able to hopefully recover it once this is all clean and this pan's ready to use. And having to wait till Wednesday to do this is kind of rough, because I already started. I had a fun Tuesday song picked out. Oh well, I'm gonna have to find some Wednesday thing to finish this. Yeah, maybe finishing this on Wednesday is not such a bad idea. Okay, I'm gonna put the pan on. I have all brand new bolts, well, except for that one, because that one just holds on the heat shield. The rest of all these bolts are new. And I have a new crush washer, which we won't be putting the plug back in for a while here. A few more steps to go. And so I've got a new gasket on here that's all fitted. So, and I have my tub, and I'm going to try to use this pump with these little seals on the hose here to put in my fluid. So let's see how that works. All right, I got my pan back on, and I have put my first quart in, and it's working pretty good. I have only lost, a couple of drops into the pan here, and I'm going to put in, I think, 5 quarts, and then I'm going to start the car, and I think you have to shift it from like park to drive to reverse and then back to park, and then let it sit and idle for a few minutes. And then I'll do all of this with my hose still in the drain plug. And then after it's warm to the touch here, it's supposed to be 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So once this gets pretty warm, then I'll pull the hose out, and if nothing dribbles out, then I'll add another half a quart. and then do it over again, and then add another half quart, and keep doing that until I get fluid dribbling out of there, and at that point I'll have the right level and we'll be good to go. It's kind of hard to do all that and hold a camera at the same time, so you're just gonna have to trust me that this works and that that's what I'm about to do. See you when I'm done. Well, there we have it. The Mercedes is done. Well, it's not entirely done. I have not put the plastic belly pans under the bottom, haven't put those back on, but I did get the transmission refilled. I got the car running. I ran it through from park to drive to reverse to neutral and then back to park, and then let it run for a while until it was hot. And it's supposed to be 113 degrees to be measured properly. So I got it warmed up and I pumped in, and that little pump setup I had worked really good. It only leaked a little bit. On the downside, you have to use two hands all the time, and you have to be kind of pushing up on it a little bit for those O-rings to actually seal. And when it's running, it gets kind of hot under there, so you have to kind of cheat your hand down a little bit, down the hose, and just pump as fast. And it took almost all 6 of the quarts that I got. The last quart went in, and then only about a quarter of a quart came back out once it was finally full. And then I put the plug in, and we should be good to go. So I need to bring in my wooden ramps to get this off of the lift, and I'm probably not going to do that tonight. It's almost dark, and I'll do that tomorrow, but it's back together for the most part, and I'm going to test drive it, and if it seems okay, I'll take it up and have the transmission thing electronically reset if it seems feasible. But next we're going to start on building a camper for the back of the truck. We're going to make a camper out of fabric, and it's not going to take very long, and hopefully I'm going to start on that in the next day or two, and we're going to tackle the camper for the back of the truck, and then we're going to go wilderness camping with it. So it's something for me to look forward to anyway. I still don't know if this will work, but I think it might. I hope it does. Thanks for watching.
Is late, and I'm not sure what to do with my hands. Be good just to hold him down by your side. Yeah, great.
Ricky Bobby, who's been like a son to me, only better. I'm naming...
Daddy!